Hi, this is the first part of an interview I did with David that grows Nepenthes outside in Hawaii. In this first part, we'll talk about all the light requirements for the Nepenthes. Some species will like it full sun, some species will like it in the shade, and some will be in between. And we'll also talk about the good water and the good substrate he uses. Hi, thank you, David, for accepting to do this interview with us. Please introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
My name is David Eichhoff. I live in Pearl City, Hawaii. I've been in Hawaii for a little over 40 years. I was born and raised in Oregon and moved over here. So I've lived here about a third of my life.
Okay.
My experience in Nepenthes, let's see, it goes back probably 2004. And I acquired a few Nepenthes at that time. And I was doing okay. I was growing them with my paphiopedilums and phragmipediums and other orchids that I had in there. What happened though in 2015 is we experienced a really bad drought during the summer here in Hawaii. And I happened to be on vacation, and my watering system failed completely. I should have put in another 9-volt before I left. I came back and everything, all the Nepenthes were dead except for one, okay. And that's my maxima, and I'll show you that in the video here as well.
Okay.
So I focus on species. Currently, I have 101 species. Mm-hmm. And I did this with paphiopedilums and phragmipediums. I got to know the species first and their characteristics, and then I was able to make some hybrids. I have 25 registered hybrids, paphiopedilum hybrids, with the Royal Horticultural Society. So that's how I learn. I start with the species first, mm-hmm. Their characteristics, and then I can make different hybrids from there.
So you mainly grow them outside?
Yes. So we have a unique situation in Hawaii where I grow them under a shade house. Mm-hmm. I don't really call it a greenhouse because I have worked in a greenhouse on the mainland. And basically all it is a structure, and it's covered with a shade cloth, and then it has a roofing on a part of it. And that's it. So it's the temperatures, the lighting, everything is ambient to whatever's outside. And that's what my Nepenthes are subject to, as well as the other carnivorous plants.
So what kind of temperature do you have day and night?
Okay, days typically here in the summertime will range about between 80, 85, probably maybe a little bit more. Night times will drop about 10 degrees in the summertime. And then in the wintertime, our temperatures probably will get between 75 and 80, real comfortable. And they'll drop maybe into the low 60s. So we have a real lowland environment here.
Nice. And the humidity is super high, I guess?
Yeah, humidity typically around the year is about 60 to 70%.
Very nice.
Some days, my shade cloth, what it actually does is it will trap heat and humidity in there. And so it raises the humidity. Sometimes it can get pretty warm in there, about 90%. It can be very uncomfortable actually. But typically, about around 60, 70% throughout the year.
Okay, so that's perfect for Nepenthes, yes.
Yeah.
What do you want to show us right now?
I was thinking of since you were talking about lighting, some of the ones that are more light tolerant or bright or sunny. So Benstonii is one of the ones that can take very bright light areas, and they do really good in the sun.
Full sun?
Full sun, yeah.
Okay.
This one here, this is one of the only ones that has edema. You can see it on the leaves. It actually came that way. And so as I grew them out, the edema went away. You can see on the new leaves there.
Yeah.
Edema is not a problem here for me at all.
Okay. What kind of substrate do you use?
Let's see. For this one, it's probably, I think it's still in its mixture of sphagnum and perlite.
Okay.
I'd like to kind of move it maybe to something, maybe the akadama later on as I repot it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see the edema there on those older leaves there. The newer leaves come out that I've been growing. I don't have that edema, that water overwatering rash. It looks like on the leaves.
Okay.
Here we have Thai, and it's next to Cassiana. The in the foreground, that's Cassiana, and that big plant there is Thai. I'm really happy to get this plant. Not an easy plant or seen much in cultivation, but as glaucous as the leaves are, or as plain as the leaves are, they take the sun very well.
Okay. Same full sun?
Full sun, yes. And then this is just a variety. This is Thai, the red form that I have here. It's a smaller plant, but I'm very excited to have Thai. And then next to that is what we were talking about earlier. There is Benstonii, and the two are very much related. Thai is from Thailand, and Benstonii is from the Malaysia peninsula.
Okay. And the leaves are like thick, paper thin?
Yeah, they're thick leaves, and
Okay.
maybe that has something to do with it. But they don't get sunburned at all. You know,
Okay.
get that harsh redness on them.
When I started, I thought that the thick leaves were only for Highlander, and the paper thin one was only for lowlander because they don't need to retain a lot of moisture inside the leaf. But then it's not always true. So, okay,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. It may be why it can take the sun.
Yeah.
This is biak, but it's a very limited species. It's off an island or a group of islands off of Papua, and does very well in the sun too. It has not as thick leaves as Thai, but you can see the leaves in the background, kind of long, strap-like, a characteristic of sunny areas. And this is a nice side view. These apparently get very large,
Okay.
so they're just starting to really gain size. I love this species.
Okay, so nice peristome. Okay, it's almost, this neck is almost like Rafflesia.
Yeah, yeah, not quite as arched, but
Yeah,
and I got a back view there just to kind of look at it. So it's
beautiful
kind of
plant.
intermediate to upper there.
The stem and the leaves reminds me the ventricosa.
Yeah, yeah, but a nice species, really bright red peristome. Yes.
Okay.
So there's a group of species that grow out in the sun really nicely. This is sanguinea, a red variety, a beautiful species. One of my favorite sanguineas. I have three, or I should say, I did have three. One died, but beautiful uppers that they're starting to produce, really elongated. You can see the sides there, just striking.
Oh, and the lid is very open.
Yes, it is.
Huh.
Next to that is Vogelii, another one that does really good right out in the open sun here in Hawaii. We have Eme. There's Eme there. It's another one that I really like. I'm looking forward to that getting larger. After that is Tobiaca back there. This is a really nice vining one. One that really surprised me, and let's see if we can get it. Yeah, there it is Gracelima. And it's kind of more of a Highlander intermediate one, I thought, but it does really good here. Very adaptable. So that's one thing I like about some of the Nepenthes, that they can be adaptable.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Gracelima is spelled with two L's, by the way. Some only spell it with one. One of my favorites too here, and I'll be talking about the pyrophytes or pyrophytic
Oh,
or
yeah.
Nepenthes. And this is a Rosea. Yeah, I love this one from Southeast Asia. And the paraphytic Nepenthes are ones that are drought tolerant and fire tolerant. So they can in their natural habitat, fire can go through and burn it completely to the ground,
Wow.
and they come back. This is Eustacia, and really impressive is I think there's 16. I counted little pictures there, but Eustacia has beautiful upper pictures that I look forward to seeing. Next thing I wanted to share was what Nepenthes do really good in preferring shade or partial sun. One is belly eye. This is the largest belly eye I have. It's about a ping pong ball size. Really proud and happy that I got this one. I love this species. Generally, they're on a smaller plant size. So if you're looking for plants that don't take up a lot of room, belly eye is a great plant for that, and loves more of a kind of a shadier area. Here's Macro vulgaris, not a plant that's seen too much in cultivation. It's related to hirsuta and hispida, but likes, again, kind of on the shadier side, like hispida and hirsuta as well. But these get to be pretty good size pitchers in time too. Still lower pitcher. Sumatrana, there's two varieties of Sumatrana. They like it on the shadier side, at least here in Hawaii. I put them in a little sunnier area. They just don't do good. So I keep it on the back side here with other ones. There's longifolia back there that likes shade. And even the jewel orchid in the front there too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of like a little bit more moisture as well. Cibionensis, related to Burkei and Ventricosa and Enigma, that whole group there. They like it a little bit shadier as well. So I tend to put those over where they're not getting the direct sun as well. But charming little plant. Mine are starting to gain size.
Mm-hmm.
Not real big now. I know they can get quite large. The pictures, yeah.
Wow.
One of my favorites is Mirabilis variety Echinostoma. Echinostoma or echinos, or those, like sea urchins. That's what it's kind of named after. And these get to be pretty good size. This is like a 10-inch plus pitcher, and that's just from where the lid starts, the top of the peristome, down to the bottom. So they're pretty good size. And there's a nice plant there that I have growing kind of in the shade. It does like water, a little bit more water than its neighbor there, the globosa, variety globosa. So I just want to focus on a few Nepenthes that really do not like a lot of light. They do really good, or they're really tolerant of the shade. This is hirsuta. And hirsuta is, I wouldn't say it's the most beautiful of the Nepenthes, but it has a really hairy pitchers, hence the name hirsute or hirsuta. Yeah. When you touch them, you can feel that fuzz on there, and even the stems, portion of the tendrils themselves. That's the word I've been looking for, tendrils. Yeah, and even the new growth is very hirsute or very hairy, but not a whole lot of light for these here. They have kind of a thin leaf and thin pitchers as well. So maybe that's an indication that they don't really like the intense light, but really do good in this partial shade or this the situation here for these. This is hirsuta.
Okay, I see the hairs.
Yeah. A close relative of hirsuta is hispida, and to me a little more attractive of a species here. But again, just like hirsuta, they don't like a lot of light. They do better in kind of low light conditions. So this is my shade house. Again, I don't call it a greenhouse because it's really not a greenhouse. It's just a matter of shading the plants enough from the elements outside. The entire shade house basically is just a wooden structure. It's 9 feet tall, 9.5 feet tall, and it's 10 feet by 10 feet wide and 20 feet long. But this is where I grow my Nepenthes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot in here. And I grow them with other plants too. It's not just the nepenthes that I have in here, but a lot of them are. You can see up there, there's all the gracilis growing on the back there. But here's kind of a long view of the shade
Very
house.
nice.
Yeah. And half of it is actually covered, so there's no rain can get to it. The other half is completely open. The
Okay.
sun-loving ones are out there. They get exposed with all the elements. So because it's ambient, in other words, it takes in the surrounding temperature. I have no control over how the daytime temperatures are, the nighttime temperatures, the wind that comes in. It keeps a nice general breeze that Hawaii is known for. We have the trade winds. So you have just a gentle wind coming through. It doesn't remove all the humidity. And then the shade cloth keeps and traps some of the humidity in there as well.
Okay, very
So I'm
nice.
trying different things there. There's lattice on the back there. On the very back is actually grow a variety of vining tillandsia. And so some of the ones that vine up as they get their uppers, nepenthes will grab onto those, and they use that as a means to support their upper pitchers.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how we do it in Hawaii.
Yeah, a lot of vining Nepenthes.
Yes. Yeah. A lot. Yes. But a lot of support I try to give it. And since a lot of my plants are still on the younger side, I'm constantly adding more supports and lines and ropes and lattice and whatever, so I can experiment with different things as to how they grow. Okay, I have a water catchment system. Good water, believe it or not, is key to growing nepenthes. So you want to keep the ppms of the salts to a minimum.
Yeah.
And one way I do that is I supplement whatever reverse osmosis water that I need to purchase from time to time. And I do it by two 33-gallon catchment systems. As you can see from the, yeah, there's the other one there too. Okay. And it comes right off of a roof into the water, into these barrels here. Usually the first water is not good after a rain, so you got to let it just kind of go through after a good heavy rain here, and allow the water to go in each of the buckets there. Then I put 5-gallon buckets under there. There's a little spigot there. Just turn that on, and it fills them up, and water's ready to go. Some of the substrates that I use and that I really like for our situation here is I like akadama. So this is just a penny, American penny next to the akadama to show you the type or the grade size it is. I put that in plants that need a perfect drainage that yet can use a little bit of moisture in the pot as well.
Okay.
And then the other thing I like are two different grades of perlite. I use the one on the right, the smaller grade for seedlings and some that like a little bit more wetter. And then the one on the left side, the larger grade, is great for larger pots that you don't want a lot of weight to, but you want something that's going to give it a lot of air into it. Generally, I mix my perlite 50-50 or more or less ratio with a sphagnum. Just chop up the sphagnum, dry sphagnum moss, and wet it all together. And it seems to for most nepenthes, this combination really works good. Love it. It's beautiful, beautiful combination.
Okay.